In this exercise, we're going to take a look at creating the vertical alignment for River Road. So previously, we talked about creating the centerline geometry and editing the centerline geometry for River Road. So now we're going to take a look at creating the individual elements and then complexing those together to create this River Road alignment. Now, before we do this, there are some design requirements that we have to adhere to. We're going to be tying into this mountain highway corridor here at this northern end of the project. And we also have a river crossing here, so we need to maintain a vertical clearance, minimum vertical clearance above the water surface elevation of the river. Okay, so those are a couple things that we need to pay attention to. So the vertical alignment you see on the screen right here, this is the River Road vertical that we're going to be creating in these next few videos. So to begin, we must first go and open our geometry drawing. So I'm going to go over to my geometry DGN file, open that up. So one of the first things we need to do is determine the takeoff grade and the tie-in point where River Road meets Mountain Highway. So if we zoom up here to the northern section of the project, so you can see River Road intersects Mountain Highway at this location. Now we need to determine the cross slope of Mountain Highway so that we can get the proper slopes when we design the vertical elements for River Road. So I already have a corridor that's created for Mountain Highway. Already has the proper cross slopes and already has the linear features and such defined in it. So I'm going to come over here and turn that on so you can see that corridor. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer. And you can see we have some template geometry here that's placed. We have our edge of pavement and our center line, our ditches and construction limits and whatnot. And all these features are available to you for when you're designing your vertical elements. So we can determine elevations and have elevations plotted and projected on our profiles for River Road. So what we're going to do is first determine our cross slope using some of these features from the corridor. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go and open a profile model for River Road. So select it, go to Open Profile Model. We're going to open that in view number 2. And you can see here's the existing ground along River Road, so you can see what that looks like. And then I want to zoom in to the beginning of our profile here, the beginning of our vertical alignment. So zoom in a little bit there. And now what we're going to do is we want to determine the cross slope of the pavement from the mountain highway because we want to be able to figure out what the cross slope is and where we're going to begin designing our River Road geometry. Okay, so to figure that out, we're going to use a tool called Profile Intersection Points, which will allow us to determine and put points in our profile model where the elevation of the center line and the edge of pavement are here. Okay, so I'm going to go up to my vertical tools. I'm going to go to Profile Intersection Point. It's going to prompt us to locate an element to show intersections. So I'm going to select the River Road alignment. I'm going to select my centerline geometry for Mountain Highway. It's going to place a point there. And then I'm going to select the edge of pavement template geometry from my corridor. And you'll see another point placed on our profile model. So those represent the station and elevation of those two features from our corridor. Now if I zoom in a little bit closer here, you'll see you can see those there. And now the next thing I want to do is I want to place a line between those 2 points. So I'm going to go up to my vertical tools here. I'm going to create a piece of geometry between those 2 points. I'm going to use Profile, Line Between 2 Points. I'm just going to snap to that line. So I'm going to snap to this point, snap to that point. You can see we get a piece of geometry created there. Okay. I'm going to go to the element selection tool and we're just going to check the slope and the distance. You can also see there's some snap icons being displayed there that indicates that we did create a snap rule to those particular intersecting points so that if the corridor were to move or update, then the geometry you just placed would also move and adjust and update as well. So it's very important to remember that. Now, one other thing you may want to do is sometimes you may want to see the pavement buildup from the mountain highway corridor. And we can do that by utilizing the Create 3D Cut tool. So I'm going to come over here to the Create 3D Cut tool, and that's going to display the components from our mountain highway corridor. So the placement method, we have the option of using corners, and we also have the option of using full profile. For this particular example, we're going to use corners. So I'm going to left click to accept that method. And for the start point, I'm just going to pick a point somewhere down here. We're just going to be creating a window into the mountain highway corridor. So I'm just going to select my endpoint up here. I'm going to data point to accept. And you'll notice it shows the pavement buildup. It shows the components from the mountain highway corridor into the profile model. Okay, sometimes that's useful. You may need to see the pavement buildup in your profile view.